Hello, I'm Chris Kilby, a pastor in a pergola, and here is today's bite-sized Bible from 1 Timothy 1, verse 3. So we've been introduced to Paul, we've been introduced to Timothy, his son in the faith, and the fact that he's now staying in Ephesus to lead the church there. And Paul warns him about some of the teachers in the church who are teaching false doctrines. So today's message is all about fake news. Now, you will be aware in this coronavirus world that there's an awful lot of fake news around. Coronavirus has disrupted all our normal patterns, and many of us will be keeping a closer eye on the traditional media and on social media to see what's going on in the world. We're looking for changes, we're looking for news, we're looking for trends, we're looking for breakthrough. The challenge is knowing what is true and what is false. There are all manner of conspiracy theories related to this illness. Some say that China manufactured the virus. Others say that it's man's method of killing off the elderly. Even spiritually, there have been some fake news stories. Some have said it's definitely the end of the world, whereas others have said, oh no, this is the judgment of God on America and the developed West. Well, fake news is nothing new. In Ephesus, there was fake news. People were teaching false gospels. Basically, some of the teachers were ambitious and were divisive. And there were two types of things they were doing. Paul says that some of them were focusing in on myths. Myths are basically stories, so they were just telling stories to titillate, to entertain, to engage people, but not to bring them into the liberty of the gospel. The other thing, he says, they were obsessed with endless genealogies. You know, the Jews were very focused on these genealogies because it showed how they were related back to Abraham. And so they would have discussions and arguments about who had a better family history and therefore had more kudos in the temple. But these things weren't the main thing. Paul is saying, no, we've got to keep the gospel, the truth, the up front and central in everything that we do. You see, these leaders were getting caught in isms, legalism, Gnosticism, asceticism. And somebody once said to me that all isms are prisms and they split things, they divide things rather than bringing a unity. You see, sticking to the truth brings people to a place of unity. Whereas false teaching, fake news, brings people to a place of division. So I'm going to give you the A, B, C today of how to avoid fake news. A, avoid gossip. If you're not part of the solution or you're not part of the problem, stay out of the conversation. It just adds fuel to a dangerous fire. A, avoid gossip. B, bring encouragement. If you can be an encourager in these dark days, be it. Be it. Encourage one another. And C, check your sources. If you hear some news and it doesn't sound right, or you hear some teaching and it doesn't sound right, where's it come from? Know where your teaching comes from. And can I urge you to get the majority of your teaching from your pastors in your local church, because they love you, they care for you, and they will bring you God's truth in the power of the Holy Spirit. I'm Chris Kilby, a pastor in a pergola, and that was today's bite-sized Bible from 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 3. See you next time.